Hello everyone, I'm Mike D'Angelo with That's Entertainment, and this is my reaction video to Warner Bros. E3 2010 presentation. Everything that Warner Bros. Showed was an established franchise. We've seen these games before, and they're just trying to push things up a notch. One of the franchises that they showed was Batman. They started off with the game Batman the Brave and the Bold. If you're a fan of the cartoon show, it almost looks like you'd be playing an episode of the cartoon. The style remains the same. It almost pokes fun at itself in the way that the cartoon kind of does. In the trailer, they promised tons of gadgets, multiplayer support with a few of the established Batman characters. It just looks like it's a good balance of Batman's gameplay and just its sense of humor. They also showed a teaser trailer for Arkham Asylum 2. If you were clever and you looked at what they were presenting to you, they kind of made nods to plenty of the Batman villains. It looks like the Joker and Harley Quinn are going to both be back, but there really wasn't enough to gauge exactly what's going on. I'm sure that it's going to be great because the first game was awesome. It's also rumored that Robin is going to make an appearance in Arkham Asylum 2 as well. What I think is one of the best trailers at E3 2010, they showed Fear 3. If you're going to look for a trailer for Fear 3, look for the extended trailer. The game features co-op with some established characters. You're finally going to see what Point Man looks like. It also has a more advanced cover system, and the game, from what they showed in the trailer, it just looks like it's going to really be able to creep you out. The two characters that you use in the game both have an interesting collaboration of powers. While it is taking a step away from what made Fear play and seem like Fear, it almost seems like fans won't be disappointed. They showed a trailer for Mortal Kombat. It's a retelling of the first 3 games in the trilogy. If you have characters that you liked from the first 3 games, they say that chances are those characters will be in the story. It's a harsh return to the game's brutality. They add new things like X-ray mode. When you're destroying people's bodies, it actually shows you the damage that you're doing to their internal organs and their bones and everything. It looks like it could be really cool. They're also bringing in tag team fighting, so if you're familiar with that kind of thing in Marvel vs. Capcom, it's going to be similar to that here. They're also moving away from 3D, and it's just going to be constricted to a 2D plane of movement again. They also say that this is going to be the quickest paced Mortal Kombat game that they've ever made. One of the DS's most popular games is getting a sequel. They're coming out with Super Scribblenauts. If you really liked the first game, and you just thought it was cool that you could enter anything and almost everything would come up with what you were looking for, this game is not going to disappoint. In addition to nouns, you're also allowed to put in adjectives this time around, so you could have an angry elephant. From what they showed in the trailer, it looks like they're trying to go for an over-the-top feel, which isn't really unheard of when you're considering Scribblenauts. They showed Lord of the Rings, Aragorn's Quest, which, if you're not really into Lord of the Rings yet, this might be a good way to kind of move into the series, just because it's a much more casual move into the series. It's a lighter version of the story. It might not be for people who are already familiar with the story. It does have motion control support, so if you're into that, it might be a fun way to play Lord of the Rings. You play as Aragorn, and a second player can play as Gandalf. It seems like it's more about building up a fan base. They also showed Lord of the Rings War in the North, which is basically a brand new saga in the Lord of the Rings universe. They're creating new characters, but they're sticking with the Fellowship roots. You're going to have a human, a dwarf, and an elf. The game looks really brutal compared to a lot of the other Lord of the Rings releases that we've seen over time. The trailer that they showed was pretty much just a teaser. They didn't even show any gameplay footage. It's going to follow what they showed in the Northern Lands in Middle-earth. It's supposed to have RPG elements, so you're allowed to upgrade your skills. That was about it for Warner Bros. They had a pretty good show. A lot of established franchises means that nobody was really disappointed. This is the last E3 2010 reaction video that I have for a single developer. I have one more video that's pretty much just going to mash up all that was left from the show. As soon as I can, I'll get that up. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.